Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook and various social media platforms. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. 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 BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. So if you need to get to a therapist, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Fill out their questionnaire and they will place you with a licensed professional master's level or PhD level therapist in your state or one that can do international. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay. So today's little extra bonus video I decided to do, John and I were talking about my dad, and one of the things he insisted on was us listening to opera. I hate opera. Not the music. Don't get me wrong on that. The music is gorgeous. I love the music. The music is beautiful. It's the stories that I can't stand. It's the plot lines. It's the, if you look at most of the plot lines of most of the popular operas, they are so messed up and dysfunctional. It was their version of soap operas, I think. So, I mean, just if a person could take a wrong turn, if they could make the wrong decision, if they could do the wrong thing, they inevitably did in every single opera. But what I found very, very interesting is that the operas specifically that my father loved, and remember, he was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He was an abuser, okay? He loved the operas that had particularly narcissistic abuse plot lines. So if you think about it, Carmen, the opera Carmen. So she's a gypsy and she's free-spirited and she ends up getting killed by her stalker, basically. So she's got this guy in a position of power and she rejects him and then he starts stalking her. And when she says, no, I'm not interested, again, he kills her, he stabs her. Boom, done. And I'm just like, okay, this is the stupidest thing ever. Thank you very much. I mean, I just, it really, I don't know, So, and of course my dad loved that. Aida. He loved Aida. So basically the story is this girl is taken captive as a slave. Okay. She falls in love with one of her captors. Stockholm Syndrome. Hello. And then at the end of the story, when, there's a big convoluted so-and-so's in love with the guy she's in love with, but he's in love with Aida. And so the princess is pissed. And so she betrays him. And then they end up getting put into a dungeon, a tomb below and all this crap. And anyway, and so they die in each other's arms singing, which I'm in my head going, why don't you Indiana your Jones way out of there? Yeah. I hated the whole hopeless, helpless, women are victims. And I realize it is the time period in which it was written. However, I think it's very telling what operas my dad loved and what operas my dad insisted we listen to. Because all of the stories were basically unempowered women being betrayed by another woman. Isn't that interesting? So lots of jealousy, lots of, doing dirty behind each other's backs, fighting over men, that kind of thing. And I'm just like, that's not reality, people. Thank you. So anyway, Aida was one of his favorite. And I'm just like, Stockholm Syndrome. That makes total sense. Madame Butterfly. Love the music. Don't get me wrong. The music I will listen to all day long. The storyline can go get flushed down a toilet. Because it's like, she's a young woman. She marries a naval officer. She remains faithful to him while he's off doing his tour of duty. He comes back 3 years later with another wife. Right. And he then wants to take the child from her, adopt the child. So the new wife has to tell Madame Butterfly that this is going down because Pinkerton is a total coward and doesn't want to see Madame Butterfly because he knows he's a total dirtbag. So anyway, at the end of it, she ends up killing herself because he betrayed her. Pagliacci, jealous. The guy's jealous, totally jealous. And his wife is cheating on him, but probably because he's a douchebag. So he ends up killing her and her lover. Yeah. Il Trovatore. a lot of revenge, and comeuppance. So it's a lot about stupid triangles, triangulation of communication, lots of what's the word I'm looking for? Not intrigue, but like just stupid drama. It's just stuff that doesn't even need to be happening. So it's interesting to me, and John and I were talking about this weekend, because he was like, "Isn't that interesting that your dad liked these particular storylines?" And I was like, that is something to think about. So in thinking about that, I thought to myself, those storylines played into his pathology, that there needed to be a victim. And here's the thing, guys, it can go male or female. So it's not just men who are the abusers. Women can be the abusers too. And I think that you need to watch to see what their entertainment of choice is. Because, John and I, like I said, we were talking about that this weekend. So watch to see what their entertainment of choice is and the pathology of it. And does it play into their abuser storyline? And in every single case, I can guarantee you, my dad identified with the abuser in the story and would damn the women for, getting what they deserved or whatever. So, it's really, it's really interesting when you start picking apart things from a psychological point of view. So this is the reason why I don't like opera. I don't like the storylines. There's maybe, I like light opera, like maybe Gilbert and Sullivan, but even at that, and again, I realize in the time written, I understand, the morals were different and the society was different and everything else. But I do think it's interesting how my particular abuser loved those storylines and identified with the villain and really, felt that the women got exactly what they deserved. So in thinking about that and in listening to other clients, not about opera necessarily, but listening to other clients about what the abusers find funny or what the abusers find amusing or entertaining, it makes perfect sense. So I would just say that another thing to look at is, what do they find amusing? What do they find entertaining? What does it speak to who they are? Now, me personally, I hate operas like this. I like comedies. I do. I love comedies. I don't like movies that are just, drama and chaos and sadness and this, that, and the other thing. Real people? No. What was that movie? Ordinary People come to mind. Because in my head, it was like, if I want to see that, I'll just go home, So, I like comedies. I like happy things. I like musicals. I like, but not unhappy musicals. Like West Side Story. That's another one I can't stand. I'm just like, oh my God. Romeo and Juliet, hate that story. It's Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. But I hate those storylines that are just so stupid. It's just kind of like, okay, if y'all would just knock it the bleep off. Don't get me started. Anyway, the point being is that pay attention to what they find amusing. Pay attention to what they find that speaks to them, because that's showing you who they are. 110%. And my dad was the type of person, because he was personality disordered, that he insisted we listen to opera. And if we didn't listen to opera, well, your music's crap and this, that, and the other thing. Whoa. You get to listen to your music. I get to listen to my music. So it's really important to see how they try to control what you listen to. And here's the other thing. I'm convinced that this was part of his brainwashing. He wanted us to listen to this stuff so that we would believe the storyline, if that makes any sort of sense. So, yeah, I mean, he did not allow us to listen to our own music. I couldn't listen to my own music until I got out of the house at 17. So, So anyway, pay attention to that, and pay attention to how narcissistic parents parent. Do they restrict their kids in what they listen to as far as music is concerned? Do they try to stop them from having their own, things that they enjoy, because that's what narcissists do. So anyway, I just was thinking about it. This is the reason I hate opera. I hate the storylines, love the music. I will listen to the music until the cows come home. But the storylines, don't like them. So because they play into that narcissistic abuse, stalker, Stockholm syndrome. Women are helpless, men are helpless in some cases. In some of the operas where the good guy ends up getting executed when it was supposed to be a fake execution. Oh God, I hate those. Hate it. It's like the Twilight Zone. I always hated the Twilight Zone too, because it would have this nasty little twist at the end. And I realized that life is not all sunshine and roses. But you know what? There's enough thorns and nastiness out there that I don't need to go seek it out in media. Does that make sense? So be careful of what you ingest and be paying attention to what other people find amusing, because that's going to tell you a lot about who they are. All right, that was just my thought for this week. All right, I will talk to you guys on Sunday. We're going to be talking about avoidance and why that is not a good thing, and things that you must do to protect yourself and your kids. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.